one more minute. We will start on time. We know you guys' time is valuable. Thanks so much for hopping on. We have Moon and Lisa that are going to be leading the call today. They are our experts when it comes to commissions, trainings, and appeals. Boost does a pretty good job of making sure you guys are paid accurately for the majority of time, but sometimes, there can be a mistake here or there when the odd situation comes up. Like, say, for example, you sold a phone to a customer and maybe on the 20th day of service, they changed their phone number. Well, is that going to be caught in the appeals? Probably not. Or is that going to be caught in the system sweep for commissions? It might not, right? Because that number is not the same as what you activated on. It's within that first month of service. That could be a scenario where you need to keep track of that manually and go in and do an appeal if you weren't paid on it. So that's just kind of one instance where you might have to do an appeal for an activation in your store. So it's a kind of a rare circumstance, but again, from time to time, things pop up. And so we want to make sure that you guys have that knowledge, you have that training on how to submit appeals to make sure you are getting paid correctly. And again, as I mentioned, we have both Moon and Lisa on, and we are now at noon. So I will hand it over to them. Go ahead, Moon and Lisa, take it away with the commissions and appeals reporting review.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Moon. I hope everyone's doing well. Can everybody hear me okay?
We've got you.
Great. All right, welcome to the, let me actually go in and share my screen. That'll be a great idea. There we go. Can everybody see my screen?
Got it. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Welcome to the Reconciliation and Escalation Training 2.0. In other words, part 2. My name is Moon. For most of you guys that do know me, I do help out as much as I can when it comes to any sort of escalations or any sort of setups or any missing commissions. So on my PowerPoint that we're going to go through here on the agenda, what we are going to run through, or I'm going to run through for you guys, I'm going to help you guys out on escalations, how to submit and check the status of your escalations. I'm also going to run through you guys for missing transactions, of how to submit and check the status of your missing transactions. And then Lisa, after this call, after my training, she's going to show you how to reconcile dealer commissions using Boost Elevate. So here we go. So what I'm going to show you guys right now is how to submit your escalations. The one good thing that probably some of you guys already know is that before, their window used to be within 15 to 45 days. But as of several months ago, they have updated it now to where it's 15 to 90 days. The system is set up to where it will not even allow you to try to submit an escalation before the 15th window. So it's always going to be a reminder to everyone, letting you guys know that you have to allow at least up to 15 days from the activation date to see if you guys got paid for your commission. Sometimes there's a delay, but I want to say 9 out of 10 times, or maybe 98 out of 100 times, that payments are paid within 3 to 5 business days, which has been really, really good. So, all right. So what I have here open here is our deck. It's how to submit an escalation. Also, just to let you guys know, this will be available. This deck will be available on our website under DCIorders.com under agreements and support links. That will be up in a couple of days if you guys needed to do a how-to guide to submit escalation. So for all of you guys, this is also available through whether you log in through your web POS, your back office, or your multi-door portal. Everything is on there where you can run to submit your escalations. So for those that are going to be logging into their DCI website 3.0, when you guys do log in to submit an escalation, that if you note that you saw that when you ran your commissions report that you were not paid, and again, as a reminder, it's always best to run this escalation after the 15th day of the activation, or you will get an error, which I will show you what it would look like. So when you log into ePay, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and log into ePay. And after you log into ePay, you're going to go ahead and click on where it says reports at the top of your screen. Once you click on the reports, it's going to open up a separate tab, which will take a few seconds, and it's going to look something just like this. What you're going to do is you're going to take your mouse and hover over Boost Activations, and with the drop down, you're going to go down to where it says Boost Payment Status Report. And when you click on that, it's going to open up this tab that you see here, which is number 5. Now, you do have 2 different options as far as what you want to do. You can either look up a specific IMEI if you see that you are not paid. So if you do that, all you do is you enter in the IMEI. After you enter in the IMEI, you're going to go ahead and either click enter or run report. My suggestion is that, who knows, there may have been a sneaky little IMEI that may have never been paid that you would not paid attention to, that may have not been reported correctly. I would highly recommend, instead of just running a one IMEI, is to run a full month of activations. So to do that, instead of entering an IMEI, you would just put a start date to an end date to run the month. But to run with an IMEI specifically, all you do again, you just enter in the IMEI and click run report. And when you do that, it's going to give you a list that you're looking at here in front of you now. It will show you a full list of discrepancies or what was been paid or have not been paid. Once you locate the IMEI, that shows a discrepancy. To the left, there's going to be a caret. If you click on that caret, it's going to drop down and give you an option to click on view details. Once you click on view details, it's going to open up these options here, these three below descriptions. It's going to show you what the IMEI, if it was paid. The second one will show you if there's been a discrepancy for one that has not been paid, and it will show you if there's anything pending on that. So what we're going to be looking for is if you see for anything that's in discrepancy, so we can escalate. So when you see the one that shows you the discrepancy on that report, put that, there we go. When you get to the where it shows you the discrepancy, what you're going to do is you're going to do the same thing to the left. You're going to click on the caret to the left of that, and then you're going to go ahead and click on escalate. When you click on escalate, it's going to look just like this here down here. You click on escalate, then it's going to ask you to enter the comments. So you want to try to be as detailed as you possibly can as far as what your comments are as far as handset reimbursement. So if you did not receive a handset reimbursement, you want to type in something as, I activated an iPhone on this date and was not paid the handset reimbursement. Once you do that, you click on OK, and you will get this message here. You will receive a confirmation message that shows that the boost escalation status report. As I told you guys earlier, if you try to submit something before the 15th day or then after the 90th day, you will receive this error message here that you're not able to submit before. If it has been more than 90 days, unfortunately, from what we were told, you would not be able to escalate the IMEI after 90 days of the activation on the screen. There's another option here where it shows if there's an escalation payment type that is not available. This is a new option, which is really great that Boost and ePay has added into the system. This general escalation submission is in case when we go back here, when you guys want to submit a discrepancy here, if you notice as an example that the SIM card is not in here as a payment, and you see that the SIM card should have been added, which we'll go through later. Under this section here, you will just click on general escalation submission, put in the payment type, expected amount, which is not necessary, but you would put the comments as far as what should have been paid, and you click OK, which we'll go over after I pass this one for the general escalation. All right. That's how to submit an escalation. The second thing that we're going to go through now is how to submit a missing transaction report. The missing transaction report is if when you guys are trying to run an escalation and you show or you run a boost payment status report and you see that the number was not shown in the boost payment status report. With here, you would submit a missing transaction report is what you'd be submitting. So the same option goes in when you're logged into POS. You're going to go ahead and log in with your username and password. And then the same option, going to go ahead and click on reports. Wait a few seconds to open up a second window. You're going to go to the same heading of boost activation. And with the drop down, you're going to scroll down and click on boost payment status report. You're going to run the report using the necessary filters. Again, it's the IMEI. You're going to go ahead and enter the IMEI again, just to populate to confirm if it does not show up here. If the IMEI does not show up here, This is where you're going to submit a boost missing transaction submission. While you're on the exact same screen, if you hover up a little bit, you're going to see where it says boost missing transaction submission. You're going to click on that. After you click on this, it's going to show you to select the transaction date, transaction type, and enter the additional comments. Before, on our last training that I had, the PTN was required, which is the phone number. Now it is no longer. Boost is asking you to not to enter the phone number. But what is required is the transaction date, the transaction type, the IMEI, and your comments. So again, with your comments, you do want to be as detailed as you can, letting them know what the situation is with what's missing. Once you do that, you will receive a confirmation message that the submission should now be visible in the Boost Trans. As long as you entered everything correctly and you clicked OK, you will get this success report showing that the missing transaction report was successful. All right. Now, in this one here, this is the new report that they have now. How to submit a missing transaction report, general escalation. After you submit the Boost missing transaction report, it doesn't end there. Once after you submit the Boost missing transaction report, you do have a second part that you would have to go into. And that second part would have to be where to general escalation for missing transaction report only after part one is completed. Please be aware that this may take up to 24 hours for a missing transaction report to populate in the payment status report, which means after you submit the Boost missing transaction report, the very next day you would have to go back in to search and submit your general escalation. So once you do that, once you log in the very next day, you're going to do the exact same thing. So you're going to log in, you're going to go to your Boost payment status report and enter in the IMEI from the day before. Once you do that, it will show you a missing activation claim record should appear. It would show it to you right here. After that, underneath it, you're going to go ahead and click on the caret like before and click on View Details. After you click on View Details, these four boxes should appear. One for if there's any payments, any discrepancies, pending payments, or general. All of them should be blank, which is a success. So after you see that, you're going to go ahead and go to number 3 and click on General Escalation Submission, which is going to be after you search the IMEI. After you search the IMEI, that's when the General Escalation Submission box will appear. You will click on General Escalation Submission, and then it's going to open up a separate box, and it's going to ask you to enter the payment type, the expected amount, and the comments. Now, the expected amount is optional. If you do know the dollar amount that you should receive, please enter that in. If you do not, you can skip it, but please enter the comments. You would need to submit a general escalation submission for each missing commission. So as an example, if it was an iPhone that you did on a $60 plan on a port in, and it was $580 discount plus the SIM card plus the bounty one, that means you are going to submit the general escalation 3 times. You're going to submit one for the bounty first month, then you're going to submit another general escalation for the handset reimbursement, then you're going to submit another one for the SIM card, and then if there's an iPhone bounty one as well, you're going to submit a fourth general escalation for that bounty one, and everything should go through as a success. All right. So then now for the next one is that I'm going to show you how to check the status of an escalation. So when if you guys remember on the first one, when you guys do submit escalation and it goes through successfully, there is an option for you starting the very next day to go in and check the status of your escalation. Instead of reaching out, you can still reach out to the DDP. You can still reach out to us for any assistance. But in this position, you guys have full control to check your status of the escalation instead of calling into us, as long as you have that IMEI. Same option, you're going to log into ePay, click on reports. You're going to click on reports, and then you're going to hover over the boost activation header. But now you're going to go ahead and search for where it says boost escalation status report. Once you find the boost escalation status report, you're going to go ahead and click on that. And then obviously here you're going to run the report using the escalation submission date. Make sure, it's very important, that the escalation type is set to all, as well as the escalation status is set to all. So this is going to just run under your account to show all escalations that you did run, whether it's 1 IMEI, 2 IMEIs, or even if it's up to 100 IMEIs. You can just leave it on all and click on the status and then click run report. When you do click the run report, it will show you the history of escalations that was submitted under as many IMEIs that you did report under. Here, sorry about that. So what you do here is once it opens up, when you see the IMEI that's in question, you can go to the left and hit escalation history. After clicking on escalation history, it will show you all the details of that escalation for that IMEI as far as where it's gone and what they've been looking at. If an escalation is denied and you as a dealer wish to re-escalate, please submit your escalation request to us, to your master agent, with supporting documents. But as a reminder, this does have to be done within 20 days from the denial date. So I would highly recommend for you to please review your escalation results regularly, at least once a week, just to confirm to see where your escalations are and the status with Boost. All right. And the last thing that I'm going to go over now is how to check the status of your submitted missing transaction report. Same as when you're going to be running your escalation report, but now we're going to check your submitted missing transaction report. Where you're logged into ePay again, you're going to go ahead and hover over reports, click on reports, and it's going to open up the window. You're going to go to boost activation. Now you're going to go, instead of boost escalate status report, you're going to go to boost missing transaction report. Once you click on that, you're going to go here. It's going to open up and ask you to run the report using the necessary filters. Again, the same thing. You have the option of clicking on the entering the IMEI or just running it as a full. After that, it will show you the status, and the dish comments will appear once it's reviewed. It will show you the status of that missing transaction report that you did submit. All right. And this ends my reconciliation report. And now I'm going to hand this over to Lisa.
Thank you, Moon.
Very welcome.
Hi everyone, my name is Lisa and today I will show you how to reconcile dealer commission using Boost Elevate. The reconciliation and escalation tool provided by Dish may capture discrepancy, but however, dealers are advised to cross-reference with Boost Elevate to ensure comprehensive reconciliation. First, we will need to generate database from Boost Mobile Elevate. Because the escalation tool might not include all of the data, whereas Elevate would each catch all the discount that is in the system. So we would need to utilize the sales transaction detail report. First, we will need to log into Elevate and click on the reporting section and search for sales transaction details. And you should click on this. Then it will show up a filter, and you will have to choose a custom range for the reconciliation period. Then on the report field, we have to make sure that the contract type, the customer, and department are all selected to help with determining the type of devices, so we can look for device reimbursement. Now we will have to go back to the filter tab and then click on the export button, but make sure to select E to select XLX file. Then a sales transaction detail report should be downloaded, and it should look like this. The most important columns that we will need to look for is the transaction type, the department, the serial one, discount, and we will have to make sure to convert all the serial one number into DEC. For the transaction type, we will need to filter it where it only shows sales, since we don't need exchange or return. Then we will have to go back to the department and filter only iPhone, Androids, or tablets. Since we're only looking for device reimbursement, we don't need others. Then we will have to go back to the serial one column and insert another column, which we could convert all of these serial one ESN, which are 15-digit, into 18-digit, as ePay will primarily use DEC ESN, which is 18 digits. If you need an ESN converter tool, it can be found in the DCI order website, which is found under the dealer resources and ESN converter tool. Now to keep that report to the side, we will need to generate database from ePay Web POS to utilize commission payment detail report, because it will show all of the payment that was paid for each ESN. So we will go back and then click on commission and download the commission payment detail report. After the file has been exported, we will only need to focus on the payment type, the ESN, and amount column. First, we will need to filter all of the payment categories so then we could keep the reconciliation. In this example, we're only looking for reimbursement, which are upgrade, new act, and add a line. After finish filtering, make sure to only copy those devices payment to make a new Excel sheet, since we will only be using those records. This is where the pivot table will come in handy, since there's multiple types of ESN. The best way would be to create a pivot table that would sum up the amount for each ESN that was paid to discover any discrepancy. To start off with the pivot table, we will go to the upper corner of the Excel file and click the Insert tab. And then we click Pivot Table, and this will pop up. It will automatically select the range, and we have to click OK. A new worksheet will pop up. This is where the pivot table will be created. Make sure to click on the pivot table so the pivot table field will appear. Next, we have to search the ESN on the search bar and drag it down to the rows to see the list of ESN that were paid on commission, which will show the table up right here. Next, we will also have to search up the amount and then drag it to the values. It will show you how much amount were paid for each ESN. Once the pivot table is created, we could finally reconcile between the two data. We will then need to utilize the VLOOKUP tool from the sales transaction report to the commission payment detail. It is important to use VLOOKUP because it will help us with determining the total reimbursement and will help with finding any missing payments or discrepancy that are needed to be submitted for escalation. So first, I will go back to the sales transaction report and create a VLOOKUP column and a difference column. To do the VLOOKUP, I will first click on the empty cell next to the serial 1 ESN and then click on the function and then search for VLOOKUP. Press VLOOKUP, press Go, and then press OK. Then this window will show up and we will have to look up the value for DEC, which is the ESN that we're trying to find is the DEC, which will be in cell 2 and we will click on this and then press go. Next, for the table array, we will go back to the pivot table that we created and drag the entire section, because we're telling the function to find the total amount ESN that was paid. For the column index number, we will want to count the number of columns where the sum is located for the amount, which is 2. So we type 2 into the column and press OK. Finally, we're trying to, for the range lookup, we want to write false. So if no amounts were found for the ESN, it will show up as NA. Once you press OK, you will see a value. Now drag the value straight across from the row to the end of the ESN. Or you could also copy and paste the formula down the row. If it shows up as NA, it means that it wasn't paid. Then to find any discrepancy, we will add another column, which is called discount, and then we will subtract, we will add the VLOOKUP row to the discount row, because since the discount only show a negative number, we need to use positive. Anything with 0 indicates that the commission payment matches with the Elevate amount. And I noticed that for this example that it was missing $14.99 for one of the ESN. So we will need to double check by going back to the Boost Elevate invoice to confirm if we needed to submit an escalation for those ESN. Then we went back to the Elevate and we noticed that for this ESN, the $14.99 was a added line, which shows that the added line was missing for that ESN and we would need it to be escalated. And then if you need any more help with pivot table, I would suggest looking up a video tutorial from Excel or Google, or refer to our deck for further details. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys so much. So that is all we had prepared for you guys today. We'll open up. Are there any questions at this time? All right, if there are no questions, thank you guys so much. Again, we'll have this recording up there if you happen to miss any of this call. Oh, hold on. Yes, the webinar recording will be available later. Yep, we'll get that sent out to you guys in an email. Thanks so much for hopping on. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.